And today I'm here with
the Candy Girls. Stay tuned, like, subscribe to @Divine Hustles and learn more about what makes Candy Girl so sweet.
Hey. Okay, so we just wrapped it up with eating. Of course, the Maria's hooked it up with all the most delicious food today. So let's get started, okay? How did Candy Girl come about?
Candy Girl. Candy Girl to me is who I am in a different degree. So I feel that I am Candy Girl. I've always been Candy Girl, but how Candy Girl has evolved has been in relation to what I've gone through. So there's times that sort of Candy Girl is a little just more amplified, a little bit more, and sometimes there's times where I'm striving to be more like Candy Girl because there's, as you know, life happens and it pushes you to sort of question or doubt, or you're just trying to make sense of everything. So there's times where I have to remember who Candy Girl is and what she's about. And to me is that everyone does deserve something sweet in their life, but that also extends to yourself. Because I feel like sometimes we treat others better than the way we would treat ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's important to speak up for that and be kind to ourselves and be sweet to ourselves and just say, like, we deserve the treats in life and not be so hard on ourselves, because sometimes when we're not where we want to be, and I'm totally that person, I've done that. So I feel like that Candy Girl is a part of my heart, and I get so happy when I get to go in the ring and kind of share that with people, because it's not just about passing out candy, but sharing a little bit about what's in me and in my heart. So that's what feels so special when I get to wrestle and have people change the way they feel about certain things. I think that that's like the ultimate really compliment and power to any struggle that you've gone through, when you can use it for something positive and sweet.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, your whole name in general is pretty ironic, Candy Girl, but at the same time, she's a feisty wrestler, so I don't know.
I know. I think that's the thing. I think I love pink and I love glitter and I love candy. So I think that sometimes people just think, oh, maybe she thinks it's all rainbows and unicorns like all the time, and that's not what Candy Girl is about. That's not what I'm about. It's that you can go through things, but in spite of those things, that you're choosing to be who you want to be and not let maybe the struggle change you. Because sometimes we can fall victims to situations, and I think that that's what I want to prove, is that in today's world, it's so easy with everything going on in the world, the news, and just sometimes family problems or personal stuff you have, within yourself or your friends or community. It's so easy to just use that as an excuse to like be mad, or like just to kind of disconnect or be bitter or sour, as I would say. So it's that being kind, seeing the best in people, in yourself, seeing the best in yourself takes more strength. And that's the fun part, though, when people think, oh my God, I mean, I get it, I'm 5 feet tall, but they're like, she's pink, she's glitter, this is gonna be an easy match. It's like, no, that doesn't mean that I can't be tough. That doesn't mean that I can't fight for myself or fight what I believe in. And it's because I fight for myself and fight what I believe in that I'm choosing to present this and have a positive influence in the world, because the world will give you enough negative. There is no shortage of that. So I really don't want to make it harder on each other. And I really do think that if we all just incorporate a little bit of that mentality, it's surprising what that shifted energy will do. And obviously it's easier said than done, but that's always the goal. But if they want to underestimate me I'll put more pink and more glitter, all good, because we will take care of business.
We're going to shine today.
We're going to shine today.
And you personally, what keeps you inspired to just stay so sweet?
Ooh, for me is talking to me when I was younger. Yeah. And
dive into that.
Yeah, and I think that what one of my personal things always has been is being really hard on myself, because I used to see so much how my community fought so hard for so little. And when you're in a position where you're able to have more than maybe your family did or your community did, you feel that I felt like this immense pressure to like honor their sacrifices and just that's why I'm so passionate about representation as a female, but also as a Latina. You know, I'm being Guatemalan and always having that and realizing that like I am my ancestors' prayers. So that is the ultimate driving force, but sometimes it can be a little much where I'm burdening myself and I'm not allowing myself to just like exist. And that's one of those moments I was saying where I love bringing back that Candy Girl mentality where life is complicated, but sometimes it's just about keeping it simple and like enjoying that. Remember when you were a kid and you didn't know about how hard life was? You just like were so happy when you would get that candy bar. Like bringing it back to that moment and having it be okay when things are simple and that there's beauty when you can be joyful in simple things, especially in such a complicated, crazy world. So that motivates me, is knowing where I come from and where I can go is super exciting to me. Also being able to look back and see that some, you know, really harsh things happened to me, my community growing up, and using that as fuel, but also being careful to not let like the pain or the struggle define me. Because sometimes I would only know how to use like pain just to move forward, but also allowing myself to be motivated and see who I am when I'm happy, not only when the struggle is there. Because I think we all get like in survival mode and we're just like, we got to do what we got to do. So it's multifaceted. What motivates me is seeing where I come from, seeing where I can go, but letting different things, not just pain, motivate me. And that's a learning, wonderful process, and I'm enjoying it. So.
Wow, I'm glad you stood on the same path. But who is Candy Girl? Besides Candy Girl, you hold multiple identities, as we all do. We all carry different caps. Who is Candy Girl? If you could describe yourself in 3 words.
I would say I'm spirited. Definitely,
I can see that,
really spirited. I would say I'm relentless. Definitely spirited, definitely relentless, and I think that it's a word that is used often, but I think that kind.
Yeah.
And it's different from being like nice, because I feel like sometimes when people say the word nice, it's like, oh, they just don't want to stir any trouble. And I hate to say it, but kind of like push over, you know what I mean?
Like,
it's like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. Oh,
but you're lying. Like,
let's be.
Why are you lying?
Tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
But I would say spiritual, relentless, and kind. That you can be aggressive and relentless in what you've been through and how you want to conquer your goals, but also do that while being kind. And sometimes we think that being aggressive looks a certain way, or being this looks a certain way, or being tough looks a certain way, and it's for how many people have maybe like in life, right? People let us down or betray us. For how many people that has happened to me personally, I'm like, wow, it's really a superpower that I can still be kind and look for the best in people and just give people what they'll take. You know, you just give people what they'll take, and still keeping yourself like protected and your heart protected. And I think it's a real superpower to be able to be kind and this world when you don't expect anything in return too.
Exactly. How do you do that though? Like as a person, it's so easy to become fed up or feel lonely when you are constantly giving, and possibly never receiving.
Yeah.
So what's your experience? Share an example, and how did you kind of tackle that? Because I struggle with that too. I'm just like, why do I always have to give, and never receive? Like, I want to receive the same time, energy, support that I put out. Like, what's up with
Or if
that?
people will give you like 50% at least, but you like something. You don't have to give me exactly, but like show me love too.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I feel you. I think that I think that seeing examples, which is like a good and bad thing in the Latin community, in a lot of communities, there's a lot of strong female people in loved ones in my life where I saw that they gave and they never like never really got what they deserved, never got any of that out of life. So I think sometimes it is easier when that model is set up for you to, I don't say fall into the same trap, because it's not always a trap, but to exhibit the same behaviors where like loyalty and all these things. But then the problem is we'll start giving those things to people that maybe don't deserve it, right? And we set ourselves up to be like disappointed and let down. So I manage my expectations with people, but I think ultimately is that I know that God sees what I'm doing and that I'm putting out what I think the world needs. Because when I was little, when struggling really bad, my family, we didn't come from, not even from nothing, we were like negative. I owed you. I'm in the corner trying to sell candy, I'm just kidding. But I think that knowing that who I wish I had, or things that I wish were told to me, just to let me know. What? Just like that, things that it's so simple, but that it's going to be okay, and that you're not the only person. Because growing up in the city in LA, it's great, you know.
Yeah,
so many great places to eat. By the way, I'm still exploring. I love LA. It's like so many. I moved around a lot, so I grew up like the West Side, South Central. Like we moved around a lot. So even though I was surrounded by so many people, everyone just presents a certain like public persona. You don't really know what people are going through. And so I was going through a lot, my family was going through, but sometimes you're taught just to like not talk about your problems, whether it's personal or family or community.
But you should.
You should, because it's so crazy how I grew up in such populated city, and how many people now, like things are so
common,
relatable. And now we laugh. We're like, oh girl, remember we were outside with the hose, like drinking the hose water? You're like, yeah, me too. Like all those stuff to me was like, I didn't know, or things. And I just thought, on the flip side, when things were like really rough, I just thought I was like the only person in the world going through it.
What struggles did you have to undergo as a kid that shaped you into the adult you are today?
I think seeing what really has a lasting impact is seeing how sometimes you can work hard and be a good person and it doesn't pay off. And like my parents being immigrated here from Guatemala, and me being first generation, that was really hard. You know, that translates to a lot, like financial, like a lot of different struggles. But seeing that someone can work hard day in, day out, and it doesn't guarantee anything, I think that's why I said no. Like we have to take a step back and enjoy, like whether, for me it's candy and the simple things, because I'm like, sugar.
You're sweet too?
Yeah, some people it's coffee or whatever, you know, whatever you want. Whatever it is, it's just, yes, focus on the future, but tomorrow isn't promised. Like no one ever wakes up knowing it's like gonna be like their last day. And not in a morbid sense, but in a life appreciation sense. So, because it was hard for me to just see my parents constantly just getting undercut, and not just my parents, but a lot of people, right, in the community, and you see that. So I was like, I want to make sure that I carve out time to enjoy today, just in case tomorrow doesn't get here, that I did something for me today. And for me, like little things is like working out in the morning. Is like I give to myself before I give to anyone else. So I think that's what makes it easier, is that you can't pour from an empty cup. So fill your cup however you need to, whatever makes you feel secure, that you won't feel so derailed when things in the day happened. But that even now thinking about it, like I get so I don't say emotional, because it's more like
feel
like carnal. Yeah, like I feel it and I feel like pumped. And sometimes it can go some ways and go the other way. I don't get emotional, but
we're only human. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I think that was really hard, and that translated to, of course, like I said earlier, a lot of things that I didn't come from a lot, and even sometimes getting like $1 for candy was like an ask. You know, that's how rough things were sometimes, where it was like it really was a treat, and that you don't need candy, right, for nutrition. I argue something different, that you need it for your soul. It needs to be on the nutritional information. It will help your soul. It has its value. Food for the soul, you know.
Yes.
It may not have, you know, protein or anything, but I'm still working on the science part of it, so
there's enough sugar
tuned.
to keep you energized all day.
Yeah,
so that should be a plus for something.
To do your goals and positive and everything, see. But sometimes, like when things were rough, like it was not a necessity. So it was like, that's why I view it so special, is that when you don't necessarily know you need it, but it makes all that difference.
Yeah.
And how crazy that, like, I don't have to know everything about some of the fans or people that I interact with, but I'm able to give them a piece of candy and to see their like face light up. Aww. Do you know what I mean? It really is like, wow. And sometimes we just like forget the
little
nostalgia, that it gives us. So I really do love that, and I love the full circle way that I'm able to use everything. I went through the good, the bad, and just the sideways.
Exactly.
The sideways.
It's what makes us human. Like going back on what you said about nostalgia, like today, for example, like I said, we were up at like 7 in the morning, and we had to
Saturday, by the way.
Okay. But we had to knock things out, And so today was kind of like a mommy-daughter day, It was so sweet. But for breakfast, since we were out and about, we couldn't really catch anything, so we caught this. We had this special time when we were little. We would go with my mom to Herbalife. That was like a thing that she would do. She would go to the Herbalife and she'd take us, and like we would dance in the mirrors, because there's mirrors inside the rooms, and we just dance in front of the mirror. Yeah, and just be dorks, just be kids, And so when we got the shakes that she used to get when we were smaller, and we finally tasted it, it was just like, oh, and like just tasting it again just brought back so many memories. I was like, it's the little things, it's the nostalgia, it's the happiness that we had when we were kids that we should pursue as adults too, So that's why I want to just touch up on what is it being like what is it like to be an adult? What's an adult? I
don't want it. Take me back.
Exactly.
Take back these bills.
Exactly.
Take back these bills. No, I love that you said that, because some of my family used to sell Avon. So we would go to like the Avon store, and they also had a big mirror and stuff. And I do remember like grabbing like, I don't know, like hats or something. And just Avon is like big in like the Latin community. I don't know if you know of all the Divine Hustles fans out there. But yeah, it's along the lines of like Herbalife. It's like self-business and empowering and stuff like that. But you asked about being an adult. First about having nostalgia is that also recognizing that what we're going through now is going to be nostalgic for the future. So like absorbing it in like a good way too, and not just like checking things off the to-do list, which when you're busy, you just want to, but it's like stopping and saying like, okay,
we're not machines.
Yeah, we're not machines. And there's going to be the same way that I'm like, back in my day, this is going to be the day that I'm referring in the future. So also like taking it in too, and not just always, you don't want to just always look back and always look to the future, because then that middle part just gets lost.
Yeah, the present.
Yeah.
There's no present.
Yeah, so being an adult is, it's not as fun. I'm just kidding.
As a kid, though.
As a kid, I thought driving was like the coolest thing, that you can go anywhere, and I was like, okay, I'm 5 feet tall now. Okay, imagine like how small I was as a kid.
Yeah.
And I would be like, I was like, I want to go, and my parents would be like, no, and I was like, I can't wait till I drive. Now, if I don't have to drive, if someone drives me, I'm like, yes, please.
Thank you.
Not just because gas, but traffic, and it's just, and then I'm short, so I'll put the visor thing down, and sometimes I'm like driving into the sun, and I put it, and it doesn't cover me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what? And I'm like, I'm not going into a store and buying the booster. I will not. Like, I will not.
Dude,
so being an adult, it is. What I've loved about it is being able to appreciate my parents as humans, like you said, and not just as my parents, and like a lot, like my aunts and like other people that were just, they seem like so old when you're a kid, and I'm like, oh my god, now I'm like, I'm the age that I thought that they were old. Do you know what I mean?
Did your perspective kind of shift? Like, because as a kid, you see your parents working hard and all that.
Yeah, I think the concept of like constrained choices really hit home, because I think when you don't know about like life and hard decisions, it seems so clear cut or black and white, and I'll be like, but why this and why this, and critical or judgmental. And I think that the more and more you realize that I have friends that for years that I'm barely learning some of the other struggles that I have friends for years that I barely opened up about certain things, and then we've been years for 10, 12 years. So you really never know what anyone's going through. But I am enjoying that part of the adult where I'm okay not knowing everything. And because, I know it sounds crazy, but as a kid, I thought I was like invincible. Like, I mean, I was like made out of cartilage. I swear, I would fall and like never get hurt. But I think like I'm in grad school right now.
Congrats.
Thank you. I was really wanting, it's hard just to get representation in higher ed, but so it's been very hard. But the more that I learn about my topic, the more that I realize that I don't know anything. And I'm like, how much more classes can...
It's infinite.
It's infinite, and the more I study about it, the more I realize that I have a way to... You're never really going to be an expert, right? It's only like what you can gauge or be... And that's why there's a PhD program for my... Like, there's so much to learn, so it's this sort of contentness and insight in that the more I know, the more I realize I don't know anything.
Yeah, isn't that ironic?
Yeah, and it's humbling, and it's being okay with using what you do know for like a purpose. But I know that sounds weird, and I don't want to be like, oh, I don't know anything, like, well, I'm smart. It's just that I think that there's no way we could really delve into everything.
Like a specific yes answer. It's just like, well, I'm still learning about this. I'm still
What are you
fumbling.
enjoying about adulting?
Well, I just started last year, technically official adult at 18 last year. This year I'll be 19, and I'll say it, I'm spoiled. I'm daddy's princess. I'm mama's pain in the butt, you know? So it's very like new to me. Like we were talking about driving and all that. Not that, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I have fogged brain. But we went
Saturday,
to...
so
Yeah, it's Saturday.
She's had a long day. Work day on a Saturday.
Yes. We went to DMV, and I passed my knowledge test. Yes.
Congratulations.
I know, thank you. And I was just so excited because I walked in, and I was like really nervous because I'm kind of exposing myself, but I took it online. And I failed twice.
It was practice.
It was practice. Yeah. It's just because I'm not like you're all for education. I'm more like artsy. So the books is just so hard for me to just like sit there for a long amount of time and just read. I'm just like, I can't take this. I want to sleep or do something else other than this. Like, you know.
Yeah, totally.
But I passed.
Yay!
And so it's just like a new chapter in life. And with that, we went to the bank account right after, and I opened my first bank account.
Congratulations!
Yes,
That's like...
It was pretty big for me, yeah. I felt like, whoa, like it's getting real now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, these are the minor steps that you have to take, and it's like, the gates are opening, I was like, no, close back slowly, please. Like, I don't want to. Like, being an adult, as a kid, I feel like majority of children are like, oh, that looks cool, like putting on mama's lipstick or trying to jump in the driver's seat while the car is parked and you're pretending like you're driving, you know?
Oh, yeah. Your feet don't even reach. My feet still don't reach.
It's just like you thought that adulthood would be so grand. But depending on, I don't even know, I guess depending on the person, the circumstances, it's always different for everybody else. And my adulthood, so far, I say it's laid back, but it's getting scary because I have a childlike mentality. Like, I just want to be a kid. I want to do goofy things. I want to watch cartoons and eat Frosted Flakes. Or indulge in a whole tub of candy. Like, kids enjoy that, but that's not like that adults can't. You know what I mean? Like keeping that sort of, I don't say like child energy in inner child.
Yeah, inner child, exactly. Because if not, then what's like we're making like adults to be like bland and
like Peter Pan status.
Yeah.
Like, Neverland. Where's Neverland? Where's the next ticket? I'm going.
Oh my gosh. I will say about the driving tests is I had a hard time with it too because they were asking, like being from LA, we don't get like weather the way other people. So they were asking like on an icy road. I was like, I don't know. I've never even seen snow. No, so don't feel bad. And even though I am in school, sometimes things are just like this will be my 3rd degree, this has been really hard because being a pro wrestler and being on the road, it's hard to manage your time.
And your studies, huh?
And sometimes you feel like you have to do one or the other, but it's like, no, I want to be able to do both. Like I said, like tomorrow's not guaranteed. So sometimes it is hard for me too, because we all learn a different way, but somehow school just presents learning like one way sometimes. And everybody receives information and gives information differently. That's why I said when we were first talking about it, it's like we don't have a lot of representation for Latinas in higher ed, and you do feel sometimes like isolated in how you connect to the themes and the theories and the concepts of the program. But it's uncomfortable, because we're making way for us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's going to hopefully make it a little bit less comfortable for the person after and then the after. So I'll gladly right now, be uncomfortable and shimmy my way through and know that that has been done for me in other spaces that I've gone through.
Our ancestors paved the way.
Yes. But I feel you on the. Once I'm graduating, hopefully soon. But I'm like, I'm not reading a book ever again. Like nobody, no, not even a magazine. If your Instagram caption is more than like 3 sentences, nope.
3 cent, girl. I can't even get past 3 words. That's how bad it is. Or like an emoji. Like if I see an emoji, I'm like, okay, like I'll look at that because it's just pictures. But if it's more than like 3 words, I'm just like, okay.
Sometimes don't laugh at me, but my Twitter and Instagram is _the_Candy Girl, where I post related pro wrestling content, upcoming shows. But some of my posts, I'll off camera tell you which ones. I was there for like an hour trying to think of like a catchy caption. And I'm just like, how do these people just...
Right.
And I'm like, it really is...
It's a whole process.
I mean, you're in the industry of, entertainment and media. Like broadcasting, but it's a full... It's
24/7.
Yeah,
really is.
Yeah, it's a full thing. And I'm like, next thing I know, I'm like, what time is it? Oh my gosh.
Right.
Like, and then a couple of them, you'll see, I gave up and I just did a lollipop emoji and happy face.
Hey, it works.
I was like, they'll get it. I don't know.
I
was just like, this is too much.
It's aesthetically pleasing. Don't worry. It's fine.
Right. I'm dying thinking about it.
What's your overall goal for yourself?
Definitely graduating, completing my master's, my grad program this year is big. Is big. I'll be the first one in my family to do so.
Wow! Congratulations.
So that would be a big deal, and I really want. I've worked for WWE as an extra before a few times, but I would love to be able to have more opportunities to work with them. And I think that's the company that I watched growing up and what made me fall in love with wrestling. Yeah, and I was telling one of my trainers, so I trained with Brian Kendrick and Jesse Hernandez.
Okay.
And they both worked with WWE before. Like Jesse, decades ago for a long time. Kendrick has also worked for the company for many, many years. But I was telling them I was talking to Brian Kendrick about why I fell in love with wrestling, what made it so special. And growing up, sometimes where I grew up, sometimes it's not necessarily like colorful, I would say. Mm-hmm. Something could be a little drab, it can be a little rough, which is the beauty of the neighborhood sometimes.
It's character.
It has grit, and it's like this confidence that I'm like, I know that whatever is thrown at me, that I'll be good because we got it. We don't scare easy, Doesn't mean I want it to always be hard. I'll catch my breaks where I can get them.
Yeah.
But I think turning on the TV and seeing like Warrior, Macho Man, and Hogan, and Miss Elizabeth, and all these bright, colorful characters, and just the spandex, the glitter, and that wasn't sort of reflected in my area, my neighborhood. So I really so I think about the people that that are watching, whether it's watch a live show that we do, or watch it on YouTube once it's posted, or if I ever get to work more closely with WWE, of the potential of like who you could be influencing. That's like, so when you ask about what's my goal, it's just increasing that platform.
I love it.
It's increasing that platform and using it for a way that it helped me. That would be a full circle moment that you really can't replace.
It's all soul, it's all heart.
It is, but it also should be fun too. Like we're only here so like finding joy and stuff and having that balance, and sometimes it could go more whatever, but it's like have it fun. Like we take things too serious, and it's like the world gives us enough. It gives us cancer, disease, natural disaster, COVID. It gives us so much. Like let's not make it harder on each other. Mm-hmm. Like if you're not my cup of tea, then I'll go this way, but I'm not, going to add any more stress and any of that. And as long as I could keep doing that, then I feel like I'll have control over like the goals and this kind of life that I live. And I think that's the beauty about adulting, is really getting to decide, which is scary though, like your own life. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, I miss my mom telling me what to do.
Really?
Sometimes I eat too much candy and I'm like, have a stomach ache, and I'm like, okay, you're an adult. Like, you shouldn't have to have your mom tell you when to stop eating, or maybe you shouldn't have had it like in the morning or before dinner, and I'm just like, how embarrassing.
Candy for breakfast, wow. That sounds great.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap it up. I loved everything you had to say and your overall goal, the fact that you are doing it not only for yourself, but for others. That influence is impactful. Like you said, full circle. So we're going to wrap it up with 2 messages, okay? Your first message is going to go out to hustlers following their dreams right now.
Keep doing what you're doing, and sometimes you have to be a little crazy to keep pushing forward, but you know what you have in your heart and how much you have to give. So don't stop until you feel that you're able to share that, because no one else knows what's in you except you. So really stick through that. And if that means some people don't believe in you, are you crazy? Sometimes you have to be a little crazy to get out of situations and keep hustling. So to me, a little crazy never hurt nobody. Keep hustling, keep doing what you do, but just make sure to honestly find those simple joys and those sweet moments in life, because we really don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Yes, and don't let numbers validate you. Like likes, views, this whole new media world.
Don't compare either, because let me tell you, I see some people behind the scenes on Instagram. I'm like, that is not what happened. Don't put that out there, make people think that it happened like that.
Make controversies, like, no.
Yeah, you don't wake up like that.
No.
Nobody wakes up like that. I'm not Beyonce, I don't wake up like that, so.
And then our last message is going to go out to the youth.
Oh my gosh. We're talking about this, the youth. Mm-hmm. Enjoy your youth. Mm-hmm. Enjoy your youth, because you can't take it back. There's ways to add years, add wrinkles. I feel like in life, add stress. There is not a way. It doesn't matter how expensive that eye cream is, to take it away, to take it back. So there's no way to take back time. So enjoy it, even if you feel like it sucks. It sucks in a wonderful way, because you're never going to get to do it again. So just have fun and keep that energy even when you're an adult. So
it's a special thing.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
I want our children and children after that to know that being a kid really is a beautiful thing, whether they do have to grow up under circumstances and become like little adults to, provide for themselves or just survive, but still have little times, like you said, you got a treat, like $1 from somebody and gave you candy, and that was your treat of the day. I hope they can find nostalgia and happiness in that. So I'm glad that I got to speak to you today. I have Candy Girl here, and we're gonna close it out here. So you already know, be kind, support each other, and keep hustling. Bye-bye. Stay sweet, stay what?
Stay sweet, you said it.
Yeah, no, but
don't be sour, I'll add that.
Yeah, I was like, girl, I was trying to lead you on. Maybe we'll edit it. I don't know, I was trying to be like, stay sweet, like, okay, say it, and then be like, stay, and then you're supposed to say sweet, but you're like,
that was it.
Okay, keep hustling.
Buy a lollipop? are you
about,
asking?
Like a skid, and I was like, wait, what's a skid? The only skid I've ever heard is like skid mark on underwear. Like,
oh my god. A tutorial about how you wipe from front to back on the next segment. Subscribe to @Divine Hustles. Basic hygiene 101.
oh my goodness. Up top.
Skid row. Yeah.
Skid row.
But yeah.